Tesla to advertise, Aston Martin going strong, BMW is going to change their ovens, automakers need changes in Brexit rules, VW and Hyundai outsell Ford in EV sales in America, and Volvo to sell direct to the customer. Hello, I'm Paul Callan and welcome to this week's MotorZen News. Tesla are renowned in their ability to have sold so many cars and become so successful without doing any traditional advertising. Well, it looks like that's about to change. But if you look at the numbers, last year General Motors in America spent 1.3 billion on advertising. Toyota spent 1.1 billion. Ford spent 370 million. Tesla spent 152,000. But the word is now that they're having to resort to doing traditional advertising because it's becoming more difficult for them to get the sales. And this is the interesting thing. The interesting thing is, has all the other manufacturers caught up with Tesla now? And is the specialness that was there with Tesla for so many years, in that they were full electric, they were new, they were powerful, they were sporty. Is all that shine coming off Tesla now? That's the question. And it clearly is. That's why they're resorting back to traditional advertising methods now as well. Aston Martin, Geely, the Chinese auto manufacturer, had already a share of Aston Martin, but they're after taking a bigger stake. They're after increasing their stake by 10%. It cost them $300 million to increase the stake. Their total stake in Aston Martin now is 17%. They are now a bigger shareholder in Aston Martin and Mercedes-Benz. At this point, Geely are in third place. Lawrence Stroll, who runs the race team as well, is in second place. And the Saudi Public Investment Fund, they are the biggest shareholder. As a result of this news, their share price went up by 25%. As far as Aston Martin and their F1 team is concerned, have been remarkably successful this year so far. They're second in the manufacturer standings in F1, just behind Red Bull. And there's a couple of things about this. One is that right now they're building a brand new HQ in Silverstone. 200 million has been spent on that. They're going to have their own wind tunnel, because up to this point they've been using the Mercedes wind tunnel in Brackley. But really they are working out of porta cabins now, and have been for the last year and a half, 2 years since they started to build their new facility. So think what they're going to be able to do when they get their new facility. Another interesting thing about this, and a little bit sad, is that really if you trace back Aston Martin was Force India was Spiker was Midland, and Midland was Jordan from 1991 to 2005. And unfortunately, with the new HQ that's been built on the Silverstone site, this was the original site that Eddie Jordan set up his F1 team in, and there's some buildings on that site that were started and built by Eddie Jordan at the start of the team, and some of those buildings are going to get knocked down as a result of the new HQ that Aston Martin are building. So a little bit of sadness for any Irish motorsport fans there. Environmental protection agencies all over the world are encouraging people to convert from their gas oven to an electric oven, right? So you say, what's that got to do with the motor industry? Well, BMW have ovens where they heat the gears, the heat treatment on gears. They've converted all their gas ovens for heat treatment on gears. They have to reach 900 degrees centigrade. They converted them all to electric, and they reckon that's going to save 300 tons of CO2 per year. It cost them 7 million to do this conversion, and they reckon that these new ovens can do 1 million gears a year, and they reckon there's a 40-year lifespan on these ovens. But again, you can see the way that these car manufacturers, this is not a headline for BMW, but if someone points the finger to any manufacturer in the future, how environmentally friendly are you being, these companies want to have their ducks in a row, and that starts to happen. They're working really hard behind the scenes to be seen to be environmentally friendly, and this is another example from BMW. You're probably aware that there was something in the news this week about car manufacturers in Britain and Brexit and what was going on there. It was a wee bit difficult to just work it out, but really what it seems to be is that the manufacturers who are manufacturing in Britain have asked for an extension to an agreement that was done in the Brexit deal. Now, that agreement says that if you're going to build a car in the UK, in order for it not to have a tariff placed on it when it enters the EU market, 45% of the car parts must come from within the EU. The problem with this is that most of the EU battery manufacturing in the EU is not fully up to speed. And what they reckon is that 50% of the cost of an EV is the battery. So the manufacturers are asking for an extension. This ruling is supposed to come into place from next year, but they're asking for that ruling to go out to 2027, by which time I think they would have battery manufacturing fully online within Europe or within the UK. So that's what the whole thing was about, was that they don't want, if they actually impose this law now, cars produced in Britain will actually have a tariff when they go into Europe, and that's the dilemma they're facing right now. Again, it seems to be every week we give a story about more lithium, and when you talk to people who are, I suppose, I won't say anti-electric, but not pro-electric, that's what they say. There's not enough raw materials to build these cars. Every week it seems to be there's discovering more mines. GM has just got to go ahead to start a lithium mine in Nevada, and they reckon that there's enough lithium in that mine to produce 1 million EV vehicles per year. So each week there seems to be more and more opening up of these mines all over the world. And again, staying with EV and staying with America, Volkswagen and Hyundai have just outsold Ford in America on EV sales. So again, when you look at Ford, such a strong brand and so American, and for this to happen, Volkswagen and Hyundai doing more sales in EV than Ford. And also Volvo and Polestar have outsold Nissan in America on EV sales. They reckon that the American market will have hit 1 million EVs by the end of the year. And another story with Volvo is in the UK, Volvo have set out to sell vehicles direct to the customer, not through the dealer. This has been, you'll hear this terminology on this in other areas as agency model. I was kind of blown away to discover that 17% of Volvo sales this year have been online, have been the customer going online, ordering the car and going to the dealership to pick up the car. But the drive from this model within Volvo is that the dealer will have no part to play in the sale price of the vehicle. So the dealer will simply hand over the vehicle. This is becoming more prominent everywhere, and Volvo are targeting the UK to be the first market in the world where 100% of their sales will be direct to the customer, not through traditional dealers. Ford have also started to roll this out. Now what they're saying is all the normal ways, all the normal mechanisms that you use to buy a car are still there, but they are offering the ability for the customer to purchase online. Again, using the agency model, but they're being careful not to really make a big deal of it. They're just saying it's there and it's available. They're not saying that they're going to completely remove their dealer network. But this seems to be becoming very popular. It seems to be everybody's going down this road of the agency model now, and it's a very, when you look at how traditional our industry has been for so long, along with EV coming in, you've got these huge changes and this turmoil that's existing within the industry as well. Again, a quick reminder on Automechanica. Automechanica is probably the biggest aftermarket show that's going to take place in Europe this year. It goes on in the NEC in Birmingham 6th, 7th and 8th of June. On the 7th of June, there is all data have a panel discussion discussing manufacturer data, how to access manufacturer data. and James Dillon is on that panel discussion. It's a 40-minute panel discussion. So if you're thinking of going, this is only on the 7th. It's only on the Wednesday of the show. So you probably need to pick your days carefully. But as I said on the last show we did, it is so easy for someone to go from Ireland to this show in the NEC, fly into Birmingham Airport, short hop on a little shuttle train that brings you to the NEC. It feels like you don't leave the airport building at all. So really easy for us to get there if you're thinking of going. That's it for this week, guys. Thanks again for watching. If you could please give us a like, comment, subscribe, or a thumbs up. Any little improvement on those numbers will be a big help. So if you're watching and you're not giving us at least a thumbs up, please do, because it will make a big change and a help to us. Thanks for that, and see you next week. Bye.